Over a month ago, I decided to give myself 30 days to sew. And I experienced a lot of emotions, a lot of happiness, frustration, and confusion. And I also learned a lot of lessons along the way. So here are 5 lessons that I've learned while doing this project. Hello, I'm Kenzie and I am learning how to sew, and I hope you guys stick around to see what else I can create. Okay, the first lesson I learned was to not tie myself up to a time constraint. In the beginning of the challenge, I told myself and told you guys that I would sew for 2.5 to 3 hours. I did it for a couple of days, but then I realized that I was sewing through my frustration, and when I was frustrated, it showed in my projects and it looked terrible, thus letting me start all over again and doing it from scratch. And that was the worst feeling ever. So after I changed up my perspective on time, I just decided to sew until I got to that point of frustration, and then I was going to back away and leave it for tomorrow. And that changed my projects for the better. And yes, like there are some days when I would just only get to cut and just got frazzled and had to leave it for the next morning. It did prolong the projects, but in the end, the proof is in the pudding. The second lesson that I have learned is to use your resources. And I feel like with a new beginner, you do not have enough resources. Honestly, I searched for YouTube, Reddit pages, blog posts. I would text my mother-in-law pictures of various tensions and see what she would say. I would even talk to my dad, who doesn't know anything about sewing but understands machines on a mechanical level. He was even able to help me and fix my sewing machine at different times. So anyone can find resources, whether it be in your communities or in the libraries or on the internet. There are tons of places where you can go. The third lesson is to make sure you have enough in your supplies. There is nothing worse than going through, having a great time in that sewing mojo, and for your thread to just be empty, or you don't have enough buttons on hand and you then have to stop everything and go to the store. And honestly, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I do not have enough time to just drop everything and go to the store. I have to work around my kiddo's life and his scheduling. So I have to be really intentional. Just make sure you have enough supplies. The fourth lesson that I have learned is to change your perspective on failure. I went through a ton of just roller coaster emotions and various projects that were just hair pulling frustration. And after I would run into a lot of just disappointment, I changed my thought with looking at it as, what can I learn from this experience? How can I see it as an opportunity to grow and to be better at, sewing, or even to be better or more comfortable with my sewing machine? And with that change, it helped me a ton to continue with that excitement and that desire to learn how to sew. The fifth lesson, which is a cliche, but there's a reason why it's a cliche: practice makes perfect. And it is so true. Over a month ago, I was completely apprehensive towards my sewing machine. It took me forever to cut, to iron, to even read instructions and actually comprehend what it's saying. To now, I'm a lot more comfortable with my machine. I don't treat it like a China doll. I understand that it's very mechanical, but also, even doing simple things like cutting, I am super fast. I made an apron a few months ago, and it took me days to even read the instructions, to cut the pattern. It took me like 2 hours to cut pattern out of fabric. And then with this new apron, which I don't have near me, I'll insert a picture. But this new apron, I didn't even use like an actual printed pattern. I just went off of my previous apron that I made. This one took me like maybe a day and a half, which is insane because the other one took probably 4 days and like many hours. This one was so much better, and it's way more beautiful and more finished. I can trust to throw it in the wash and it not gonna fall apart. Whereas my first one, when I did throw it into the wash, it did look really questionable, and so happy that I just went with a new one anyway. But yeah, I very much recommend any beginner who wants to sew, who wants to learn, to challenge themselves. Maybe not do 30 days, that was a lot, and maybe not even to film it, but we love anything for content, right? But honestly, that has helped me so much. I feel way more ecstatic and way more confident in my abilities, and it's a great feeling to have. And also just to look at the progress on each project, again, it's just amazing to see that growth. Anyways, I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. If you stick around, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Have a good one. Bye.